All right, Britton DeWeese and Sam DeWeese here for Sweet and Sour Comics. I just want to make a shout out. We have 41 subscribers now. We're well on our way to 100. And once we get to 100, we're going to have a random giveaway to one of our subscribers. So by all means, if you can, tell your friends, tell your family, and have them subscribe to my website. You might notice our little friend here on the table with me tonight. That's Bob. It's our hedgehog. He could be our unofficial mascot. He was hungry and was roaming around, so I decided, well, I better feed him and keep him up here on the table because we also have a dog. Why don't you show him Lulu, which is kind of funny, who likes to steal Bob's food. So in order to keep Bob safe and full, we keep him up here with us just for tonight because it's getting late and he was hungry. So today I want to talk about an app that Sam discovered. It was called Whatnot. I'm sure people around the internet and that are tech savvy know all about Whatnot, but I had never heard of it. Sam probably had heard of it before, but he had me put it on my phone and he said, man, Dad, there are tons and tons and tons of comics on there. And I said, okay, whatever you say, Sam. Immediately, I find X-Men number 6. And I said, well, maybe I'll bid on that. And then there was other stuff. And needless to say, now I'm addicted to Whatnot. And so, without further ado, we're going to go into some of the purchases that we made on Whatnot and eBay this week. Not a lot of issues this week, but cool stuff. So the first issue that we're going to look at is Batman Year 1, issue Part 1. This is by Frank Miller, one of the best story arcs ever in a Batman series. I'm not a big DC guy, but I remember reading this when I was probably just a little bit older than Sam. I thought it was pretty decent myself for what it was. Again, DC stuff, because I'm a big Marvel guy. But I've always kind of liked Batman, and so when Sam picks up Batman issues or Detective Comics or something, I don't mind perusing that. So next thing we're going to take a look at is our eBay acquirements from this week. The first one was Spider-Man number 73. Amazing Spider-Man number 73. That would be Mountain Man Marco. Was this the first appearance of him?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was kind of funny when I first saw this cover. It was very 1960s. If you go down here, he's got these like 1960s cat boots on, and then he's also got the prototypical late 60s sideburns. Looks like he's putting a beating to Spider-Man on the cover. But you know what? Again, I like to say if I were a kid and I saw this in the spinner rack, I probably would have got it. Some big dude putting our superhero in peril. Pretty cool looking issue. In great shape, I think. It's probably a good solid 4, maybe a 5. I took a look at it, didn't read the story yet. But as far as just condition, it shows really, really good. Sam got a good pick on this. And what'd you pay for it, Sam? I'm just curious. I don't remember.
$20.
That's not bad. Now, is that $20 with shipping and tax, or was that $20?
$20 with shipping and tax.
Very nice. Good pickup, man. That's a 4-star rating on a 5-star scale right there.
It's also the first appearance of Silvermane.
Oh, well, there we go. Yeah. The old dude in the...
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got a mechanical outfit eventually.
It was before his mechanical outfit.
Gotcha. Okay. So the next thing we're going to look at, and it's the only other eBay purchase we had this week, was an issue of the Uncanny X-Men. It was number 78. And by this time, you may or may not have known, but the X-Men went into reprints by issue 67 because they canceled the run. People clamored to have it back. And so they decided, okay, we're just going to run reprints from, I think it was like issue 12. And they did that for a couple of years. And so here's issue 78, and it's the reprint of the Menace of Merlin. It was, I mean, I've already read it before. I have the original book. Decent storyline, very typical 1960s again. But I did like the cover update that they had. A little more dynamic, and it's definitely that early Bronze Age Marvel artwork where you've got kind of a border on top and a border on the bottom, and then they scrunch the artwork in, but then they kind of exceed their own little artwork panel. Overall, it was in pretty decent shape. It had this, I think it was a sticker or something that it used to have right here over the price. Maybe it was a price reduction or the price going up. But beyond that, I mean, it's a little bit, I don't want to say faded, but the white is a little bit off white now. It's not that crisp white anymore. I mean, it's definitely a good reader copy. Probably a 4, maybe a 5. On a good day, maybe if I'm lucky, 5.5, but nothing more than that. I mean, and again, it's kind of a filler thing that I did, just trying to, I'm bridging that gap and getting all those old issues, and I'm closing in on having the entire run of the first run of X-Men. So, hey, something I forgot to tell you guys, though, that Whatnot app, a ton of those guys who do their auctions online, they do these free giveaways. The trick is, though, during the auction, you just have to stay on there while the giveaway is in progress, and then they do this, like, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like this electronic, like, roulette wheel kind of thing, and then it stops on you. I will tell you this is one of the first, if not the first book, that Batman Year One, Sam got it for free on one of those little roulette wheel giveaways. And a lot of the vendors do that, and it's a really cool thing. And I'll tell you, this is, so far, I mean, we've probably entered, 20 or 30 of these giveaways, roughly, just off and on doing these auctions. And I've won football cards and comic books and more comic books. I've probably won, I think, 4 or 5. Sam's won a couple.
3.
I'm sorry, Sam's won 3, which is pretty cool. I mean, we're getting free books from these people, but I'll tell you, this is all the people that I've dealt with so far, at least on this website, have been really, really nice, super responsive, and they want your business, and they want you to follow them. And it's just really a neat kind of little app there. And I'll tell you a dirty little secret that I do is, while I'm working, I just put my phone up on a stand-up charger and just let the auctions run all day. And every time I see a giveaway, I just press it to enter. And then sometimes I win, sometimes I don't. But I know last week I won 3 times. So kind of a neat thing. I like this Whatnot app. And with that, we've got the next issue here. Another key issue. It's an early Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man, number 13. Razorback, is he a big...
Not at all.
So it's just a minor key?
Yeah.
Do you know... And I know that you weren't a big Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
You were telling me that if you collect kind of those like initial runs of Amazing, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Web, that this will probably be the last one you get. But when they put this up, you just kind of liked the cover. and I get it. It's a good cover, and the other thing is it's a spectacularly clean issue. Sam has a really keen eye. It's that young eye for seeing good issues. Newsstand copy. I don't know if that's going to affect the price or not. Probably not, because I think there was probably a lot more newsstands. What is this? Early 70s? Or no.
Early.
77. So mid 70s.
Yeah.
So mid 70s. But 35 center, definitely a Bronze Age comic in great shape. Do you know if they had any more appearances of the Razorback? I mean, is it a two-parter or is it?
Yeah, he appeared in the next issue.
Yeah,
and he appeared a couple times.
In Peter Parker, or was he?
No, he was in Amazing Spider-Man.
He was in Amazing Spider-Man also.
In the 2000s, he appeared a couple times and stuff.
Did they? Like a lot of villains. I mean, I just don't know. Did they change his costume a little bit or?
Nope.
So he's always kind of had a greenish costume with a pig on his back.
Yep.
All right. And his name is Razorback, and this is his first appearance. Next thing we're going to talk about is Sam was getting an itchy trigger finger on that Whatnot on an auction site, and he got beat out a couple of times, and all of a sudden Spider-Man issue 375 pops up, and it's glittery and gleaming and gold, and he pulled the trigger on it, and what did you pay?
$8.
$8. $8 for the issue. And then he just was looking at me, and I was like, why are you looking at me so funny, Sam? He goes, and with a big sigh, he's like, 'cause I already have it, Dad. I already have it. And I said, well, if you already have it, why'd you get it again? He goes, just because I wanted to win something. And he goes, and it was cheap. And he said, and it's a good issue. It's a dynamic cover. So I said, well, what are you going to do with the other issue? And he goes, well, we'll probably put it on our little store that we've started. So eventually, the original one will make it to our store. They're pretty close. This is a bad bag that this is in. It's I don't know. When was this made, this comic? 92. Because, 30th anniversary, 92. So this bag is literally...
93.
93?
92.
Well, the bag is 31 years old. Mm-hmm. Because I've had it in a bag. I don't really know where I got this because, again, I didn't collect Spider-Man. It must have been a friend of mine or something that was just getting rid of his books, and he gave them to me. Said, I know you collect comics. And I never, ever turned down comics because of things like this. You know, it's a free comic for $3.95, but what is it worth now, honestly? About $8?
No, like $25, $30.
Okay, so Sam got a great deal. That's the next thing. That's probably the other reason why he bid on it, because another thing is Whatnot has pretty good prices on a lot of their comics. They go for undervalue of what they typically are. So be looking for this issue, within the next week or so, or maybe 2 weeks?
The next week.
Next week or so on our little Instagram store. Right now, we currently have a few X-Men issues up there that we have duplicates of, and there'll be a few other little things popping up here in the next few weeks. So then going back again to Whatnot, and this is just, it makes me laugh because poor Sam, he loves Amazing Spider-Man, and you typically can't touch issues 1 through 10. $200 is the least amount, and that's if you're damn lucky. Whoa. And that's a completely crappy copy.
Cheapest, like the one that we just saw today, number 10. 1.0, maybe a 0.5, $140.
$140, and that was a buy it now, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And we are actually, I don't know if somebody bought it, but we are debating on that still. We think we might pull that trigger, but typically we don't see Spider-Man issues in the 1 through 10 range even that cheap. I mean, for whatever reason, he's really popular, and I give Sam a lot of crap saying, I don't know why they're so expensive, but Spider-Man, he's right there with probably like Superman and Batman in popularity. I mean, he's one of those characters that just transcends everything. You know, I mean, it's everybody loves him, everybody likes him, everybody knows who Spider-Man is. They might not even know his name is Peter Parker, but you throw the webhead up on the screen and they go, oh, that's Spider-Man. I mean, just easily recognizable with the, you know, snap of the finger. X-Men, on the other hand, yeah, they're super, super, super popular, but it's just a different kind of thing. It's a team thing versus a singular hero, you know, and X-Men are popular, but I would say that X-Men are more popular with just basically, and I'm not saying this in a bad way because I am one of them, I think they're more popular with the comic book nerds more than they are with just normal everyday people. Like, you can have people that aren't comic book people get a Spider-Man shirt for their kid and he'll love it, and they'll never buy a comic book of Spider-Man. That's not the same, I don't think, with the X-Men. I don't think you would go out and buy an X-Men shirt and the kid would be like, who the heck are all these guys? But you show them Spider-Man or like Batman or Superman, absolutely, you know. And I grudgingly admit that because I always give Sam crap about how I think the X-Men are better than Spider-Man. But, you know, in truth, he is one of the most popular characters in the world.
He's the most popular superhero.
Is he? Even beyond Superman now, you think?
Well, they did like a poll on it.
Oh.
And he's the most popular superhero.
Well, there you go. He is the most popular. And I think, obviously, because of that, it drives demand for his books.
Yeah.
In general. And then it doesn't hurt on top of that you honestly had the A-list artists on Spider-Man for years with Ditko and then Ramada, and Stan Lee did what, the first like 50 or 60 books?
Higher. He did it till the early 70s.
So Stan Lee was doing all the writing, so it's, you know, when you got a team, in my opinion, if you have a team of writers and artists that are basically the same guys, and pencilers and colorists, and you get that same formulaic thing over and over again. And say what you want about any of those guys, they're super, super creative people. And I mean, it took a lot of genius to, you know, you have Stan Lee coming up with stories in collaboration with Kirby, who came up with Ditko, sorry, I'm thinking my own guys, but Kirby was a genius with Fantastic Four and Avengers and X-Men, but you are right, it's Ditko, you know, coming up with this. And then when did Ramada take over?
Issue 39. So
in issue 39, you almost want to say it's seamless.
Yeah.
You know, and what Sam always says is Ramada took Spider-Man from being kind of a scrawny kid,
like a high school kid,
and beefed him up into just a little bit older, but a little bit older, like a college guy.
It's like he grew up. It's like he grew up between issues.
And it's kind of cool, and it was just the style of artistry and stuff, but they did really, really well. And I'm kind of getting off on the topic, but it's getting back to pricing, and the reason why is because Spider-Man is popular, the X-Men are popular, but not quite that same level up. You know, they're just not.
Yeah.
And so Sam said, "Hey, you need to look up." And I honestly can't remember the guy's website, but he says there's a buy it now for an X-Men number 6. And I said, "Well, how much is he asking for it?" And he goes, "Well, Dad, it's in really rough shape, and he's asking $110." And I said, 110. I was like, "Sam, that's a lot." And he goes, "Yeah, but you can offer him less." He goes, "You can offer him less." And I said, all right. So I got on there and I'm thinking I'm gonna lowball the guy a little bit, and I said $70, and I expected a counter offer because, like with eBay, if you were to do that, I mean, you're talking 2/3 the price of what he was asking. Typically, like guys on eBay won't accept that and they'll counter offer or whatever. Within like 10 minutes, Sam, 10 minutes?
I don't.
10 minutes, half an hour, whatever it was so fast. He accepted that offer. And I wasn't really, that was the very first purchase I made on Whatnot. And it was X-Men #6. And it has condition issues, for sure. So Sam's laughing, but it's okay presentably wise. I mean, I'll say this, if I already had this issue, I probably wouldn't even think twice about getting this. And eventually I'll probably get another copy, but that'll be years from now because I need to get the rest of the issues first. I don't need a lot, but the ones that I'm getting down to are getting pretty pricey, so it's going to be a little bit farther stretches in between, and I'll probably end up working on the second volume of X-Men also once I get most of this run rounded out. I mean, I need a lot of those reprints from the 70s, still like 10 of those. I need like 3 books from the 2000s, and I need number 100 still. But after that, it's really, really early stuff for the most part from 1 to 50. And those are going to get a little pricey, but I was super excited to get this. The cover was so brittle around the edges. I actually do. And when I opened the book up, a couple of little pieces of the cover actually fell off up the top. And then it wasn't attached, but I knew that beforehand. And the pages on the inside were actually okay, though. They're not super brittle. It's a very readable magazine. I would have no problem because of condition, especially of Sam. I mean, Sam takes care of books anyways. He knows how to touch and look at these books, and he actually opened it and looked at it before I looked at it. You know, some dads might not trust their 13-year-olds to look at comic books that we know are fragile. But I trust him because, again, he collects old books, so he has a great appreciation for them and he knows how to handle them. This book in particular, I did something that I've only done to like 3 issues. I had to do it to. I got a really, really, really bad copy of Amazing Spider-Man 51 for Sam. It was $5. I mean, we couldn't pass that up even in the condition that it was in. But when we got it, the cover was split all the way down the spine. It was detached. And so I put this stuff called conservation tape on it. It's a really, really thin kind of rice paper tape that's translucent, just on the inside. So the book actually presents very nice now. That 51 is not too bad. In the future, I think I'm going to try and get another copy of that for him once we get enough issues down the road of that Spider-Man, but it's just a good filler for him to have right now. Kind of like this X-Men #6. I mean, there's a little chunk missing out of here. There's a chunk missing out of here. It was the same thing, though. And what really kind of made the final determination of just using that conservation tape and being done with it is when I opened up the cover, on the inside of the cover, somebody had already put masking tape, or not masking tape, I'm sorry, just the Scotch tape, some clear Scotch tape that had obviously, it's still there. The cover's faded. It was like I said, it was just ripped in pieces. So I just repaired the cover as best I could. Someday in the near future, I want to get a little press just for us, me and him, just to press out stuff. And this will probably be one of the ones I press just to get it flat again because it's a little wavy and stuff. There's no water damage to it, though. It's just not in great shape. And I'm a little hesitant even about using a pressed because it is so brittle. I might put it in I've seen online using a humidifier first and then pressing it so you get a little bit of moisture back into the comic and relax the fibers a little bit. But overall, I'm happy with it. I have the issue. It was a great story too. That was the other thing. What did we find out in this? This was a minor key back in the 64 here, but what did we find out?
Namor was a mutant.
Yep. So that was like a big reveal because obviously Namor was around in the 1940s in Timely Comics with Captain America and the original Human Torch. But they really didn't have that big mutant thing going on. And we find out that Namor's a mutant, so there he is, Marvel's first mutant. As far as in print, we know that Apocalypse was one of those early mutants. And then you also have Selene. She's a mutant also. That's delving deep into the X-Men characters, though. But, so even though it wasn't a big haul this week, it was a great haul. I'm 2 issues closer to having the whole run. I think I'm down to either 34 or 35 issues that I need now. Truth be told, I mean, I got another issue on the way. I don't know if it'll be here by the video for next week, but I'm clipping them off one at a time. I got to slow down a little bit, because it does cost money to do this, and which is another reason why we kind of started our little Instagram shop, just to kind of start funding our little thing here. And I'm having a great time doing this with Sam, and I am so excited about our little store that we started together, and I'm excited that we have 41 subscribers now, and I can't wait to have more. And all you guys out there who are viewing my page, I don't have a lot of views yet, and I'm getting there though, and I'm hoping I'm getting better with my content and just being there in this community. I really enjoy it. Also, one more thing as I kind of ramble on here. This weekend, we helped Legend Comics in Omaha move from their Leavenworth Street location, which was the temporary location that we've talked about several times. We moved to the actual interior part of all the trades and comics and some of the display cases and a few racks and stuff. We got their old store all cleared out, and everything's in their new store now. It's all in boxes still. And Wendy and Jason and David and company are going to have that place up and operating, I'm thinking, in 2 weeks. So mid-August is going to be their, as Wendy put it, which was really funny, our grand reopening. So they've been to a couple of locations, and now hopefully this is their final location. They've still got a third of their back stock in storage and not at the store yet, but they are going through that, and we got to see just a glimpse of what they have down there. And Sam, why don't you, I know you're behind the camera, but let's see, they had first Ghost Rider.
They had first Ghost Rider. They had first Thanos, 2 Death of Gwen Stacy's, 4 of the first Silver Age Green Lanterns, including the first Star Sapphire. They had Jack Kirby's first work on DC. They had the first Black Goliath. They had...
What was the...
think they had the first Luke Cage.
They had the first Luke Cage, yep.
3 of the first Luke Cages. They had
the Miles Moraleses.
They had 2 Ultimate Fallout number 4s. They had the first V for Vendetta and the first somebody else who appears in that magazine.
It's absolutely crazy what they have down there. And I know that before, so they had a shop on Leavenworth, and then they moved way down the street on Leavenworth when some issues happened. But I believe they had an online shop. And I don't know if those are going to be online. I don't know how they're going to do it. But if you're in the Omaha/Benson area, which is kind of a suburb of Omaha, in the next few weeks when they open up, you need to go down there and support it. They are great people.
And the prices that they had on all the books were cheap.
Yeah, they were not overwhelmingly expensive.
Stuff that I can afford.
Exactly. And we actually bartered our time, and we've got a big issue that's really, really cool that both Sam and I were eyeballing, that we're going to show you a little sneak peek, if you will, but we won't tell you what it is. But there's a big issue that we got, a big key that we got for barter.
Not for Spider-Man or X-Men, but just
completely different, completely out there. And I tell you what, when we finally I've got an extra room in the house, because right now we just do this in the hallway of the basement. But when I get that extra room done, and we're going to have a wall for our books that we really, really like that will rotate out here and there, that's definitely going on the wall. That is one for the ages that I think we got. And it is a really cool cover. And even at what they had it priced at.
Oh, yeah, I would have.
It was way underpriced.
If I didn't barter for it in about 3 weeks, I probably still would have bought it.
Yeah, and we would have split that cost. But yeah,
that book was super underpriced.
Yeah, and it is a really cool book. Yeah. And I will say this, it's classic Silver Age. And it's just one you can't miss. And if you're a Marvel Silver Age collector, which my young son has got me into, just going X-Men and getting some other books here and there. And again, some of those books will be for sale, but some of them we're going to keep in our personal collection. This is a book that you want for your personal collection.
Yeah.
You know, I would say it's not a grail for me, but Sam has said it's a minor grail comic for him. That when he has seen it on other people's channels, he has wanted that book ever since he saw it. When it popped up, it was kind of a no-brainer. It's kind of like me with X-Men 101. Not quite, but I'm a little more fanatical about 101, and I couldn't believe when I got that. But it was definitely one that even I would have got. I mean, honestly, I would have got that too, Sam. Yeah. So I can't wait to show you that, because I think it's a really, really cool book. So for Sweet and Sour Comics, this is Britton Deweese and Sam Deweese signing off. Remember, subscribe, and go to our Instagram page also, because we love to see you guys there too.